this isn't a Bible study. We're just here. It's late, yeah. Mr. HDP, but we've been busy. Actually, I've been in a food coma for a while. Like since I ate that giant T-bone. It's the first time I've ever ordered a steak from that place because I was afraid of ordering their steaks. And, well, I feel like an idiot now. Hey, Aid. We can make this a mail call video. I got some mail today. Hey, Mark. Try really hard not to go political tonight because, well, whatever. But since I've declared it not a Bible study, we might. I just have a really hard time preaching during the Christmas season. I always have, because all I ever want to do is preach against Christmas, and when you start a war against Christmas, people start hating you. So. The end. So I just crawl into my little shell, say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and just go on. We do use it as an excuse to spoil our grandkids. Our kids grew up expecting to have to wait until after January for anything cool. And that was, we told them we'd get them something when we had money because we wanted to and because we loved them, not because society told us we should buy them something on a specific day or for a specific day. They just, no, I don't fit in a box real well, honestly. The end. Thank you, Clifford. Who else comes sneaking? A T-board snuck in here. How's Christmas out in the world for everybody going? Just got another offer to refinance my house, but then kiss my butt. They're just not offering me the right. They're not giving me the right interest rate, and until they do, I'm not going to do it. And I want that interest. I want the right interest rate on a 15-year note because that's all we lack, like 15 years. I want to go back into another 30-year mortgage. Save me legitimately, save me money, allow me to refinance for 15 years at a reduced interest rate. And we'll talk. The world is crowded, trust me. Oh, what? I've been trying to get enough. I found a way to cheat the internet a little bit. Anyway, it's taken me about an hour to find a server that would maintain a stream. So, and that is not going to last. When the traffic, what it is broadband just keeps circling around, and it'll pack these servers full, then it'll jump over to these servers. It'll start jumping over to this server, and just goes a circle. And unless you stay ahead of it, you wind up dropping your internet all the time. And it's been really bad since it's been going really bad for 2 weeks. I did finally get to present my grandson with his shotgun today. Got the granddaughter's little bath and beauty package that Mrs. S picked out for her was a big hit too, apparently. And the other one tore open every box in her fake grocery shopping cart that fast. Yeah, she thought there was going to be cereal in it. Which, if you can still buy the little boxes of cereal, I'd just buy those and take them to her every once in a while. Let her make a mess at her parents' house. But that's just because I love my kids. And good parenting is something you want to teach people.
Yeah. What she did.
Berry flakes. She opened the berry flakes. There's nothing in here. She was really disappointed about that.
And then cheese crackers.
And then there were no cheese crackers.
Yeah. This one she actually tore.
Yeah, she was trying to use her teeth on that one. Because she's got like a little, it's a little kitchen, little Tyke's kitchen thing or whatever, and she's always playing. She'll always drag us in her room, and we'll have to sit on the floor while she makes us something to eat. Was it the day before yesterday? When did the grandkids come out?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Anyway, yesterday I was fed roasted bugs for about an hour. So, there's nothing better than having your, how old is she now? 6, 8? 6? Your 6-year-old granddaughter bring you toy bugs that she's had in the fake fireplace for 5 minutes that you're supposed to test and tell whether or not they're ready. Yeah, she got bored and then she went on to something else. I forget what it was. Oh, then they started playing with blocks. We have toys. We have a big tote in the corner that they're allowed to dig in, make a mess. They just have to put it up before they leave. Hey, Beady Boo.
Do you have any bug spray in here?
What are you spraying? What kind of bugs?
A Sadie bug.
Why are you spraying Sadie?
She keeps stealing my spot every time I get up.
Hey, Sadie, get out of the chair.
Oh, Hyde stole the couch.
Well, it looks like you're in the floor.
Listen here, little lady. That's a grooming spot.
Yeah, I got our daughter a cast iron too.
Yeah, we bought Kirsten the cast iron. That's because she's gonna steal mine. Been trying to steal, and then after we gave her cast iron, she still tried to steal it again.
I plead the 5th.
You can't plead the 5th. I caught you. I seen you doing it with my own eyeballs.
Your eyes could lie to you.
Then how come my skillet was in your stuff?
It wasn't in my stuff. It was inside my other skillet.
Oh, your other skillet's not your stuff?
Technically, but it wasn't with all my other stuff.
Not yet.
That's true.
So anyway, yeah, you have to be careful around here. And this after I give her grandmother's skillet. Last time she was down, I gave her grandmother's skillet, and then she drinks it still Moscow.
Because the big one is great for lots of things, but I needed the little one.
So I went to the store. I searched high and low to find you a cast iron skillet like you wanted.
Mhm.
And just because it doesn't have the word seasoned in the description, you want to still want. Which we're going to have to find that mouse. We're going to have to torture him. We're hanging up by his little feet. Pull his face off. Did you see?
Mhm.
It's a little rust spot about that big with a rat tag right in the middle of it. Let's go kick his ass. So we got to reseason it anyway.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What T-Boy doing? Oh. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I miss about cooking on cat. The new stove that we have, which we only have because of a really sweet lady. We're tight wads. We buy whatever's cheap. But anyway, I miss having a gas stove. Is the things you can do with cast iron on a gas stove is just, it's different. Hey, Aaron. Merry Christmas back at you. The cranes are flying over here. Are they flying there? Just FYI, I've been noticing them. Excuse me. Before I got my haircut, we have made a lot of headway in the downsizing exercise that we're doing. Maybe that's why they're coming down here. We've actually got a few puddles here and there. They're not landing anywhere close to me, though. There you go. Sweet Pea got her heart broke. She tried to out wrestle her nephew, and well, he's taller and just about as strong as her now, and she can't pick on the little guy anymore.
No, it's too big.
I confess to Tajo that if it hadn't been for the women in his life, he wouldn't have got that shotgun. I would have just swapped him for one of mine. Anybody that's did she put that on Instagram or Facebook, that video of? Oh, okay, Facebook. Anybody that's following me on Facebook or whatever, you need to go find Courtney on there and watch the little video she put up of my son. My son tried to get his son to shoot this little shoulder buster I got in here he was going to put a Magnum in it. And I said, son, that's not the gun you kids shot a Magnum in. You're not going to do that to that boy. He said, it can't be that bad. So I handed him a regular shot shell, number 4. It was a number 2. Number 2 shell, long brass shell, and then a Magnum. And to go shoot him. And he went outside and he shot the regular, it was number two. And then he shot that Magnum, and they got the Magnum on they just got through shooting the one and saying that's not so bad. Then he threw that Magnum up there and pulled the trigger and it knocked out of him. So yeah, but that thing doesn't weigh anything, doesn't have a rubber butt plate on it, and it's got a modified choke on it. So when you pull the trigger, it kicks crap out of it. It's a good shotgun. It's the one that I did that little. A couple of my videos have an intro on it, which I need to start putting that intro back on there. Do y'all miss my intro? Does any of y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like a little 18 or 20-second thing I was putting on the front of my videos for all like 6 or 8 videos. It just seemed redundant to put it on every video, you know. So I overthink a lot of stuff. It's a character flaw that I have. So, Rob, what'd you give me for Christmas? Has Walter come in yet? Aaron, are you on the cold side or the warm side of the mountains up there? I'll have to find it and I'll stick it on the front of my next video. See, apparently it wasn't that impressive. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's weird how it is. See, we went to both sides when we were up there visiting, and one side's just wet and warm. Well, relatively speaking, I guess. Because we were up there in the wintertime and I was running around. I mean, it was wet, but I was running around in a jacket. Yeah, it was in the 60s here in the, around 1 or 2 o'clock, around noon. And then by 2 o'clock, it had already dropped like 10 degrees. I don't know what the temperature is outside now. Hey, can you see the thermometer from where you're at? 36. Yeah, temperature dropped off a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like below freezing tonight.
Yay me. Do I need to go plug in the well house? Remind me to do that after a little bit. I think it may be plugged in. I may just have to flick the switch.
It got really nice before lunchtime.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them. That it was nice and warm and toasty. It was a little breezy, but it was warm enough. We was out. Well, I don't know. After we went out the first time, Todd come back in and tried on them pants. But
Earlier it was 56.
No, it got up to 60, I thought.
Oh, well, we first went out, it was 56.
Yeah, 56, 9 o'clock in the morning, though. That's not bad. Yeah, it rains like a lot up there. Honestly, don't know how people do it when it rains all the time. Like Florida, I mean, it rains twice a day, but it only rains for like 30 minutes. So, we were gonna buy him a 410, but we literally couldn't find any ammo to go with it. So, I'm glad we bought that 20 gauge. The recoil wasn't bad at all. So I didn't get to shoot it. He didn't let me shoot it. Yeah, but I didn't want to be that guy. I should have been. I will be next time. Trust me. Next time he brings it over here, I'm be, hey, can I shoot your shotgun? Bet he'll let me because I'm the guy with a whole brick of bullets in there. He's got 50. Well, 47. Yeah, he lives up there by Naomi. You and my sister live up in the same state, I think. Well, Rob, if they don't start putting because when was the last time you saw a row of the Arizona cedars somewhere? The ball cedars up there in that country. The ones up or south of Lubbock and around Grassland, Southland, uh, Tahoka, Wilson, all in there, they cut them things down 15, 20 years ago. And the rain just quit. Just like it did in the Dust Bowl days. So I'm just saying, something to think about. You're supposed to plant the trees and keep them watered. Um, Pull all the trees off of every creek bed in the country and turn it into farmland or pasture land, and want to know why it quits raining. And I don't know. I never made it that far north of Lubbock. Y'all may not have had them up there. I'm trying to remember if I ever saw any over at Plain or Levelland. Yeah, I used to see them in Plainview though. Called them windrows. Half-mile long stretches of trees. Wouldn't think it'd make any difference. Oh, excuse me. Hey, it was a Chinese food restaurant. That was perfectly acceptable. Well, I hope. How come the lady come over and said steak good and started bowing? How come? If I offended her. Dude, T-bone steak. It was a little overcooked for me, but it was actually seared and it was good. Um, it was almost still pink. Oh, come on, Rob. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't you leave just because you have family and friends over. Just because you have a life, you will not abandon us on YouTube. You will not leave us poor, sad, pathetic, lifeless people alone while you go and enjoy your friends and the holiday cheer and stuff. What kind of person would abandon his friends like this? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. My wife wanted me to ask. Tell the ladies I love them and stuff. And I really hope Sarah is not teaching that dog to. She didn't like find a shirt or something that I left there and teaching the dog to like attack it or anything, is she? I'm asking because I'm concerned for myself.
Don't give them any ideas if she's not.
Yeah, and don't ask her if you haven't actually seen her doing it. Don't mention that to her. All right, Rob, be good. And I didn't get you nothing for Christmas, so don't give me nothing for Christmas. When we show up, we can give each other's presents for our presents. Yeah. Today was fun. Our kids know that we don't really do, and our grandkids know that we don't really do Christmas. And it was just cool to watch them.
This is the first time we've ever.
Really done anything, here's you a suit of clothes or whatever. But this year we were like, whatever. And we did it. We had them come over here and we didn't wrap nothing. They wasn't nothing wrapped up in no jingle bells and Santa Claus bullshit. Nowhere. So, wasn't no snowmen, no wreaths, none of that stuff. Yeah, it was good. Me and my wife both had to grow up without grandparents, and we're trying to make sure our grandkids enjoy their grandparents. So, excellent. Uh, is the raccoon healthy? I hope. Mark, sounds like you're raising him right. I would have done catch and cook bobcat, except somebody who I can't point at because there's a wall between me and her said I really shouldn't eat the cat. So I told y'all about the suicidal or raccoon, right? I think I already told them that. That's still just nuts. Sadie really wants me to trap the possums that are living under the house. But they're not causing me any trouble right now. I may put the live traps out though, just to make sure that it is possums, not raccoons. She's treed 3 possums. She's treed 3 possums in the last month, and she's chased the raccoons, and she didn't. This one here, she didn't tree it. I think it was just passing through because I walk around and I look for. I haven't seen any raccoon sign anywhere. I didn't think we had any, but surprise. Need to call Mr. Walter Davis. Let him know I got his package. Still smells good. Yeah, and that's, if he was trying to get out of a live trap or whatever, or out of a trap, yeah, you got to be real careful. I edited it out of the video, but whenever I touch a live trap and there's a coon in it, I'm super careful and I'm real jumpy. They have canines and opposable digits. Raccoons are. If raccoons averaged 50 pounds, they could rule the world. They would be worse than baboons. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, animal bites or whatever, get the peroxide on it just as quick as you can. That's something I don't show people. I actually carry either 1 or 2 bottles of. I carry 70% isopropyl alcohol and the 3% hydrogen peroxide with me whenever I go on my little adventures. If I get cut or bit or whatever, I hose that stuff down. I don't play around. Yeah, that'll get you bit. Bet he don't happen again. And you're right. I mean that's what you call educational. The educational experience. I no longer rescue wild kittens. I don't. 6 months of pain and discomfort. The last time, so I just don't do it. There you will. You two in the chat? What did that? Oh, sorry. I got a text from Rob. Somebody else got a gun today, too. Damn it. Rob, if you're still in here trolling or whatever you call it, you, they, you should have waited for a 2-for-1 sale. I'm jealous now. I don't need another gun though. Rabies are a big deal everywhere. They took away a lot of the things that you could use to. As PBS's funding increased and their programming became more and more one-sided, the number of activists preventing the successful eradication of pests and dangerous animals became more and more difficult. The increase in bureaucratic spending and policing of individual freedoms and rights became more and more intense. I have. It's disgusting. Skunks get rabies. Rats can get rabies. Well, anything, any mammal is susceptible to rabies, I believe. There's something that doesn't get rabies. Rabies doesn't affect every animal the same way. Everybody thinks that when humans get rabies, they get all crazy and start trying to bite people and everything like that. It's way worse than that. Oops. So, bats, dogs, cats. They call it everybody thinks they call it hydrophobia because the animals get afraid of water. It's actually swallowing becomes very painful to an animal that has rabies. So anything that makes it try to swallow, or anything that has to swallow with or whatever, like eating or drinking or whatever, it reacts negatively towards. And once it gets to that stage, the animal's usually toast anyway. I mean, he's on his way out. But that's the time in the infection. Department of Natural Resources, game warden. They're from the north. They don't know how to just call them a game warden.
DNR is do not resuscitate.
Yeah, do not resuscitate.
Figure out what he was actually talking about.
Was it deer poachers or meth cookers. It's usually not the poachers that pop the game wardens down here. It's usually the drug guys. Because, here it's a fine, and they're going to take your rifle away. Sometimes they take your truck, but you can get your truck back. It's not worth killing somebody. But drug dealers, yeah, they'll shoot a game warden that stumbles into something they didn't want him to know about. So, game war or drug dealers, there's a real fear. So, how many people are ready for the zombie apocalypse that's coming?
I wasn't trying to drive, I just really didn't know what you meant.
Yeah, it's poachers. I made a crack about it. It's weird, Tibor, because uh, little simple things like that it's real easy to get over when you're having a conversation with somebody. But a lot of the problems that arise between people is uh, a slang term in California and a slang term in New York City. While they sound exactly the same, they have two completely different meanings. So it's the same, like some of the things they say in Europe and stuff. If you say that over here, you're going to be in trouble. But some of the stuff that we say over here, that's okay. If you say it over there, you're in a world of hurt. In the United States, you don't use a certain C word unless you intend on going to blows. You do not use that word unless you expect for blood to be shed. And they use it all the time over there. And I just, that's just not a good plan. Well, down here, we would have to. I forget what the lead initials are, but it would sound stupid if we tried to call them by their initials. So we just call them game warden. And they're not officers; they're wardens. So they actually have Texas game warden has way more authority than anybody else. Way, 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 way more authority. Game warden does not need a search warrant. He doesn't. He doesn't have to have a search warrant to look in the bed of your truck or in your toolbox or anywhere else. All he's got to do is ask. If he follows you from a hunt and you pull up to your house and he sees you take stuff you were using to hunt into your house, he now has authority to go into your house. You don't mess with game wardens down here. That's why if a drug dealer sees a game warden in Texas, they just ship him. Because all the stuff that would get him out of jail with a regular policeman. Doesn't work with game warden. The only thing a game warden can't do in Texas is walk on water. I've never known a game warden to abuse their authority or their privilege. So, yeah, I think you're right. They do have to ask permission to come up to get on your boat. That's weird. They never make a big thing of it. They say, "Hey, can I get on the boat? Can I check your live well?" Be right back. I'm gonna go get coffee. I'm not feeding you, fat ass. I really am an annoying stickler for hunting regulations. I read and reread the regulations 3, 4, 5 times every year to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules. A lot of the rules are annoying in the fact that the reason they had to make those rules were because somebody was using it as a way to get around another rule. You know, the original, okay, these are the rules for hunting, were pretty simple. We're only going to hunt from now to now. Let's all only take X number of deer. So everybody has a chance at a good deer. And then they had to add, okay, now we're going to, since you're too stupid to know what a good deer is, since you're too stupid to know what a mature buck looks like, we're going to make up, this is a legal buck and this is an illegal buck. Since you don't know the difference between an antlerless and an antler deer, we're going to make rules about what they are and when you can and when you can't shoot them. And goes on and 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 on. They've rewrote the grackle laws. They did have a weekend shooting period. We used to have a lot of ravens around here. They actually had the name common raven, but there's hardly any now. So, because everybody just, I mean, they'd see them, they'd shoot them. And they had seriously damaged the turkey buzzard population here. So you can't shoot turkey buzzards. I think you can still shoot the ravens, which I don't understand. Haven't seen an actual crow in forever. I think they've still got crows 100 miles west of me. But there's no quail this year. Haven't seen a single covey of quail all year. Didn't see any last year. That when they poisoned all that hay to get rid of them army worms, they killed all the quail. I mean, I think they got them all. I think they killed every quail on this side of the county. Which makes me wonder what they sprayed to kill the worms. And that, my friend, is why certain insecticides are against the law. Because, yeah, they do affect things. And now we've got, with no quails, we're going to have ticks running rampant. We're going to have spiders out the wazoo. The grasshoppers are going to get too thick. Yeah, elk and mule deer don't look the same. One in Tennessee. Yeah, now if they have reason to suspect you, or if they already have proof that you've broken the law, they don't have to ask you. The way the game wardens do it here, if you're drunk on the lake, they escort you back to the boat dock, run you into or guide you into a dock, and then you're met at the dock by a DPS trooper who then arrests you for DUI. And it counts against your driving record. So we had fed up quail here. I didn't know she was doing it, but my wife noticed one or two out in the backyard, so she started feeding them. And they just were more and more and more, so she kept feeding them. She just threw extra feed out. When she would feed the chickens, she would just throw extra food out. It's no big deal. Then she could sit in there and she could watch the quails eat. Was something she liked to do when she got home from work. Corn's cheap, or chicken scratch is cheap, and it was good for the world. I'd actually got to where I was taking cracked corn back in the back, and I would spread it around so that they would have, because quail are really good for the world. They're important. And we probably had this little 70-something acres that's right around us. We probably had 120, 130 quail on it. But then when they sprayed that hay, that was it. I mean, we literally have not seen the quails in it. Now I've thought about going and getting some quail eggs. You can order quail eggs, running them through the incubator and getting them up whenever they're about ready to fly and taking and chunking them loose. But between all the people and their freaking barn cats and people using, and I think what it was is I think they had I think it was a legal pesticide, but I think they had it mixed stronger than they should have. And they fed that stuff to their cattle, their dairy cows, after they sprayed it. We don't have any pheasant here anymore. We had a few, but there's still some west and north of us. He got more money to spend on quail eggs than I do. We had wild turkey here, but Sadie doesn't like giant chickens, so she runs them all. Which is annoying, but that, and if people find out you have quail, that you got quail going, they'll run the county roads. Yeah, this is why they have laws. They'll run the county roads, they'll jump out and they'll put out quail traps just inside the fence line. And then they'll come back and they're stealing the quail, so they don't care. They will literally take every quail in the trap. And if one quail gets in there, then the whole covey will get in there. So, if there's room for 40 birds in there and it's a 40 bird covey, you just killed out the whole population with one quail trap. I have a rule: when I find a quail trap, it gets opened and then it gets put in the road, and the owner can find it later in the bar ditch after I drive over it. No, we got Canadian geese like you wouldn't believe. Nobody hunts geese anymore, man. It's too much work and too expensive for the return. So, if there were still places that you could hunt them where it didn't cost, if you can find a guy that's willing to let you post up out in the field, you got to be up way before the sun comes up. You got to freeze your butt off forever. That's here. Other places it may be different. There's only a couple of ways to get a shot at a goose here, and none of those are any fun. So. Well, y'all need to make bigger areas, Aaron, so they'll quit. I mean, you can't get in a park in Lubbock for the geese, man. It's crazy. They need to net them and then take them to the slaughterhouse, turn them into Christmas gooses. Shalom. Biddy, did you sneak out here or are you still hiding out? She hadn't said anything in forever. Got a lot of lurkers in here. See, and there you go. There's that stupid law crap. I mean, run over the dumb ones, and the rest of them will be smart. There is no, trust me, people, there's no shortage of Canadian geese. What, the freaking sky will turn black with those things in Lubbock sometimes. Literally block out the sun. If he's in here, he's lurking. I hadn't seen him pop in, but chances are right now they're doing that whole family time thing. I think his kids are home for the holidays. No, he got all his Christmas stuff done. That shotgun is an attempt at preventing my grandson from turning into a electronic device potato. Just face against or face into the LCD screen or whatever. Liquid crystal display LCD screen is just. See, I wish I could get up there because are you allowed to shoot the starlings? They actually encourage people to kill the starlings down here, and there's hardly any of them left. There's a few here in town. I'd really like to go starling hunting. Starlings are horrible. We've got rid of most of the starlings, so the woodpeckers are coming back. Starlings kill woodpeckers. The end. Without woodpeckers, trees die. The end. Because the woodpeckers sitting there chasing bugs that ordinarily would be eating the tree or laying larvae in the tree bark and then eat the larvae eating the tree and stuff. Woodpeckers go around and diminish the number of critters in the bark. So they serve a purpose. All right, Mark. How's the missus whenever you get back? My nephew's in the hospital with pneumonia. Or is he out yet?
He's supposed to get out tomorrow on oxygen.
He'll be on oxygen when he gets out?
Yeah, until his lungs get back to 100%.
They say his is the flu. So I actually know somebody now that had the flu that wound up in the hospital instead of the COVID. Which is weird.
That's only the second person I've heard of this season that's had the flu, though.
Yep.
Fix your life.
There's nothing wrong with my mic. Is she talking to her phone?
Yes.
Can she hear me?
Yes.
Oh. I guess my daughter is playing a game. All right, you're in the room with Ty Joe, ain't you?
No, he's still over at that lady's house.
Dang. See, I just want to get 6 or 8 of them because they're supposed to be really good to eat. I don't know. I just want to find out.
If you do not fix your mic, I'm going to put my foot in your face. Wait, no, take it off before people put it on too. Back out.
Talk about somebody with their face stuck to an LCD. I think it's some kind of zombie apocalypse game they play out. I've never gotten into I got into Call of Duty. That was it. Yep. But it's kind of hard to. My brother feeds him in his backyard. I asked him if I could shoot him. He looked at me funny. I told him they were invasive and we're supposed to kill them all off. He still hasn't given me a straight answer. I won't eat a chat because nothing I know will eat a chat. Not cats, dogs, nothing. There's very few things out there that the meat is bad for you. There's some things out there that you're not going to be able to get past your taste buds. And that's just the way it is. I've never noticed a smell to starting. I mean, I've killed plenty of them before I started doing the catch and cooks and stuff, before I started doing the videos. Not sure how many folks are in this chat over here. See if somebody exciting is live. We may all be wasting our life over here. Come on, you can do it, Home Depot. Get out. No. Not so many people. Nobody's live. Like I say, I think Chipper's got family. Rob's evidently got family. ACP may still be lurking. But seriously, who's ready for the apocalypse? Because I don't know, man. 2020 is not or 2021 is just not looking good to me. I'm a little annoyed after Full Spectrum's last video. But selling sandbags is just, or yeah. Like sandbagging your house and getting ready to hunker down and try to defend all your stuff, I think is the biggest mistake out there. There's no way a individual family, even if it's a mom, dad, and 4 adult children, just making up numbers here, you're not gonna damn sure not gonna prevent the state from coming in. It's me and mine attitude is a death sentence. The end. I mean, Carol, I'm. That would be really, really cool, Carol. But it doesn't matter which way the politics go. As far as who's setting, who the POTUS is. It and I don't. Everybody's saying the country split down the middle. I don't think so. I don't believe that half of the country's population wants what the left wants. I don't believe that. I think right now, at the most, 30% of the country is left wing. Here's the other kicker. I think there's about 30% of the country that's still conservative. So that leaves 40% right there in the middle of fence riders or people who just don't want to get involved. They just want everything to stay quiet so everything goes on, and I just want to have a good life. And those people existed in the Revolutionary War. Those people existed in 1812. Those people existed in the Civil War. Those people existed in World War I, World War II. Every war out there, those people have always existed. And it's because those people, the majority of the population just wants to go on with life. And there's nothing wrong with that. So the problem is, they make it a lot easier for the dark forces to win. Well, even, I mean, you're not going to keep SWAT out of your house, T-Boy. It's not going to happen. If your name's on the list of people where they're going to come kick your door in and take your weapons and take you to jail, you're going to jail or you're going to die. Now, do I think that it is prudent to be removed from population center? Yes, very prudent. That's why we did it. We were building life in Texarkana, Texas. I don't know about y'all, but that's a pretty big place. We elected to come back too small, and then we were looking, we moved into town. And we're like, no, we don't want to move in town. So we spent 5 years looking for a place in the country. We found a place in the country. We bought it. We've been here. We bugged out a long time ago. Has it always been easy? No. Owning your own piece of dirt out in the middle of nowhere is a royal pain in the arse. You have to drive anywhere to get anything. There's no public services. You can't just write a magical bill and have liquids coming into the house and solids exiting the house. All of that's on you. And see this, there was 10% that showed up to fight. Ish. You know, whether with guns or with finances. Did y'all realize, I mean, that somebody had to pay for the Revolutionary War? Somebody had to buy food. Somebody had to buy uniforms. The United States would not exist had the 1%ers not coughed up the cash to pay for a government. Yeah, I mean, that's, I like the people that are playing around with the homestead and stuff. And I was one of them where, man, I'm self-sufficient. And then you realize that you've got to go to Tractor Supply once every 2 weeks. That's not self-sufficiency. That's just another farmer. Now, going to Tractor Supply or something like that, you know, the feed store once a month is still better than going to the grocery store every 3 days. But, hey, Kildare, you're not self-sufficient. That's I think the more I think about it, there's a still in the state, but honestly, if I could find something like that place at Crosbyton, yeah, I mean, makes you rethink it. I mean, I don't know. I know why we didn't get that piece of property in Oklahoma. Dreaming of starting from scratch and building something, yeah, that's a great plan. If you're 20 or 30. I think we need something with a little bit of infrastructure on it. And I think when we start looking at what we need instead of what we want, I think we'll find it. You know, so the house that's on the property is not exactly what I would have built if I was building it. Does it work? Yes. So they put the water well a place that I wouldn't have put the water well. Does it work? Yes. The more important consideration would be is there tillable land? Is there a way to catch water? Is there a way to set up an irrigation system? Is there a way to defend the property? Is there a naturally occurring covered egress from the property? You know, stuff like that. That seriously, that one up that Crosbyton, I mean, the back of the 30 acres, there's a draw that runs off the map, off of Google Earth into the bushes and all the way into Oklahoma, being the tree cover all the way out of the state. Would it be an easy hike? Don't think so. Could you leave the property and stay out of the sight of air, land, and sea? Yes. Moving your wife out, you might want to have that conversation on the phone, buddy. What's going on? She caught you sleeping with your motorcycle, didn't she? That's not natural. Yeah, that's see, we almost bought property up in a little town outside of Lubbock one time, and I'm glad we didn't because now it's owned by Lubbock. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Gilder. Me and the missus decided to take a break too. She's not talking to me, and I'm not talking to her. But that was an hour ago. We'll probably be over it in a little bit. We didn't talk to each other over supper, mostly because our faces were full of food. But this, man, I killed her. I'm really sorry to hear it. I really am. This, there's going to be more and more and more of that right there. of what you're going through because it's flipping shut down than anybody's going to be able to keep track of. See, that's the other part of it. That's why I don't want to buy 5 acres in the middle of a bunch of 5-acre plots. I'd just as soon find 100 really crappy acres that just had 20 good acres in it. You fence the whole 100 acres. Farm the 30 good acres and graze the other part. I kept these chopsticks. Going to make little arrows out of them because I can. Here more. That's the way it works, Killdeer. That's why I was really hoping that we get the lockdowns lifted and everything back on track by before the holidays hit, because the suicides and everything amped up in the lockdowns, and suicides and divorce and everything amp up during the holiday season. Scared to death for this holiday season because of the holiday season in the lockdown. It just was a recipe for not goodness. That's why I'm not looking for any property anywhere close to a major metropolitan area. I don't want to be within 2 hours of Dallas-Fort Worth or Denton for that matter. I don't want to be within 2 hours of Oklahoma City or Tulsa. I do not want to be within 2 hours of Amarillo or actually Plainview. The parts of the country where you can actually make a go of it and the cities can grow and stuff are the same places where life is sustainable. And that's a problem. We're actually considering the desert. Really. We're actually, as weird as it sounds, we're actually strongly considering moving further into the desert because nobody else wants it. Now, if it weren't for summer, I would consider moving down around Bob Hansler. But I do not want a summer in South Texas. There's actually land for sale down there, but by April, you can't stand to be outside after 8 a.m. There's zero building restrictions down there. You literally, I mean, you have to make your own electricity. You have to make your own water. The end. But shit, the property we're looking at, it's an hour drive. Well, half an hour on dirt roads and another half an hour on pavement. On average, we're looking at different places. To a place that has a grocery store. And, you know, literally for the first several months, we would have to be able to tank in our water. That means once a month, spending a tank of fuel in a truck to drive somewhere where you could get a month's worth of water and drive back. And I'm not going to be able to do that with the truck that I have now. I would have to have something capable of hauling 1,000 gallons of water at a shot. So, I'll never understand why people just keep going more and more and more Democratic, because the Democratic Socialist welfare state crap is what drives taxes up. I'll never understand it. I mean, yeah, the less taxes, the less stuff you get from the government. The end. They could fix it. You know, all you got to do to get on welfare is give up your right to vote. It works for me. Because I would just really like it if they made you show a picture ID. No picture ID, no vote. By law, you have to have a picture ID for everything in the state of Texas. Yeah, whenever a piece of property starts getting populated, they do that everywhere. Lubbock was annexing south so fast that one of the little towns south of them, which was exploding, started annexing to the north to shut them down. So now the two city limit signs, I think, are just almost on top of each other. So, but the people that moved to the one town to escape the taxes from the bigger town, now they're stuck in a town that's nearly the size of the one they moved out of when they moved out. So it's just silly. That's, we don't, and I may piss people off. Freedom, okay. Our individual freedoms are no more important than the individual freedoms of our neighbor. Okay. Nor are our neighbor's individual freedoms more important than ours. Okay. If you own your piece of property and you want to raise chickens, goats, and all that stuff on there, that's fine. As long as you raise your chickens and goats and water over on there in a way where it doesn't affect your neighbor. If your neighbor wants to have flowers and run around naked and not be looked at by goats, then you have to put a fence between your property and their property where your goats can't see them walking around naked and eat their flowers. Because you have the freedom to raise the goats, but they also have the freedom to run around naked and not have their flowers eaten by your goats through the fence. And if y'all can't come to terms on it, then the Second Amendment comes in and y'all just, whoever wins gets 10 acres. So that works. But the thing is, we've allowed too much to come in where, well, your freedoms are trampling my freedoms. Well, no, not really. I don't particularly care if you're gay. It doesn't affect me one way or another. That, you being gay has nothing to do with my life. Now then, if I have, for instance, a bakery and I bake cakes and stuff like that, and you want to have a partnering party with your same-sex partner, but my religious beliefs say that that is against the rules, then my freedoms, my individual freedoms dictate that I don't have to sell you that cake. And there shouldn't be a law that says you have to sell me the cake because you're being a bigot. No, I mean, I have the right to believe the way I want to believe. If you want a cake, go to the store that doesn't have a religious problem with you getting the cake. Problem solved. And if you try to force me to make your cake, then I should be able to shoot you. Problem solved. Everybody else counts Wyatt Earp as a hero of the West, a tamer of the lawless. He was a flippin' Nazi ass, anti-Second Amendment chickweed. I don't like Wyatt Earp. You're not carrying a gun in my town. Dude, you ever read the Second Amendment? I carry a gun anywhere I want to. I got no use for Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp played into the hands of the left and the Puritans. If we can get rid of the guns and the violence, then all this other stuff will stop. And he was actually working for the organized gambling people. He was a bully for the cartel. And the first thing he did was use his badge to take away everybody else's right to carry a firearm. Think it all the way through. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just because you want to be naked doesn't mean I have to go naked. And now, if they want to run around naked, then they should have to put up a fence. You actually have to split the fence. Your goats, they don't want to see your goats, and you don't want to see them naked. So, you'll split the cost of the privacy fence. And then, no finding out they have pretty neighbors coming over that you do want to see naked, and no going over there and stepping up on the stump so you can look over the fence. T-boards, because that's not cool. You either killed her. None of you guys. Just off that stump. No drilling a hole in it either. That's just not cool. What are you guys thinking? Y'all are just trying to see. There you go. There's another problem. Everybody tries to figure out how to get around the rules. whenever it suits them, they want to bend the rules. And then the rules aren't any good. I mean, what are the rules we govern ourselves by? Either they're what they are, and this is what I believe, and this is what I stand for, and this is where I draw the line, or there's no line, and you don't stand for shit, and you don't have a dog in the fight, and you need to join that 60% in the middle. You just want to have a good life and live without anybody messing with you. That's what the other people say they want. So if you don't like the way your state, I mean, that's didn't work out for California. Everybody's like, well, I don't like my state. I'm going to go to California because they let you get away with more stuff. And now California sucks. What's in this coffee? Honey. I'm not drinking tonight yet. Probably start drinking after I get off of here. Aaron, I'm going to go ahead and cover that. Your deer blind is for hunting deer. Okay? And there's no need to set your deer blind up on the same side of your property as the privacy fence. Okay? I'm telling you, stop. Just leave those naked teeny boppers alone and let them pick their flowers and sing kumbaya or whatever. And you just stare at your goats. But don't be weird about it because that would be awkward. No, this is something my wife come in here and set this down at me. It's Bones Coffee Irish Cream something. She set it down in front of me and with coffee in it one day, and I started drinking out of it. I think she does it on purpose so I can't see if I still got coffee. Or maybe she got tired of me drinking out of the same white coffee cup all the time where y'all could see all the coffee stains on the outside. I don't know. I like my blanket. I smell blanket. I like my cabinet. We're putting stuff in. Yeah, barbed wire fences don't do much about keeping goats in or naked people out. So, you see. And it's not, our freedoms doesn't mean that the government's supposed to stay out of us and let us do whatever we want to all the time. We have liberties to live within a set of rules that we agreed upon at the founding of the nation. If there is something that you want to do that is detrimental to you and to society, we don't do it. Heroin is not good. Methamphetamine is not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for society. It's not good for your place in society. And I'm sorry, people, but ganja is not good for you and the role you play in society. If let them legalize it, but I think it needs to be the same as a DUI. If they pull you over and the cop smells it on you, they need to have a way, they need to be able to poke your finger right there on the spot. And if the level of THC in your blood pings that meter, your ass needs to go to jail. The end. Now they've got the blood alcohol content too low. They need to change that. I honestly don't think there's a problem with having a beer with the guys before you go. Now, having 3 beers and then driving home after work, you should have just gone home to have the 3 beers. Or have the 3 beers and then a cup of coffee. Something. That's 4,500 pounds, the average vehicle. It's 4,500 pounds traveling at an average speed of 40 miles an hour. That's a mortar round. You know, if you hit somebody with that, that's like hitting them with a mortar. That's a freaking weapon. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't go to the range or I don't go hunting and get tanked up. After the hunt's over with, yeah, maybe. But that's after the gun's emptied and cleaned and put up. It's responsibility. They are, Mark. I was one of the guys that pushed the, and I still do. I push the distracted driving thing real hard. I think first offense, and they need to hire police specifically to bust people who are doing distracted driving. They need to be in unmarked vehicles, and their job needs to be driving around with multiple dash cams so that when they meet somebody doing the distracted driving, they have video evidence of it. They need to whip around, they need to pull them over. The first time they catch them doing it, they need to write them a big hairy ticket. The second time, they need to lose their license. The third time, they need to do 12 months in jail. Not 12 months probation, 12 months in jail. People will put the phones down. People will start putting the phones down quick. More people die from distracted driving than they ever died from DUIs. They don't rate that now because now, whenever somebody gets in a wreck, if there's any alcohol at all involved, they list the accident as being a DUI instead of the distracted driving. I watched this guy, Uber, stories of an Uber driver or whatever. And he was driving this lady somewhere and she canceled right. And he's like, boom. He started talking to her over his shoulder while he's driving about the fact that she canceled the ride or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's against, they need to find you now and arrest you. I mean, he kicked her out of the car, which was just. I mean, you don't wait till you're in the car and then cancel the ride. And it's literally, I mean, the stuff you see people doing when they're on the phone is way worse than you see them doing when they're drunk. And you can tell when it's somebody on their phone or whatever, they'll slow down, they'll be weaving all over the road. And then 2 miles later, you're going 60, 65 miles an hour. It's a 75 mile per hour zone, but you don't want to pass them because they're scaring the crap out of you. So, 2 miles down the road, they straighten up and they get up to speed. And then 5 miles later, they'll start doing it again. And we're like, okay, yep, they're on the phone. It's men are the worst. I swear. Men in their 30s and girls in their 20s are absolutely the worst. And well, I take that back. Everybody under 30 and old women. I don't hardly ever see old men doing it, but old women and everybody under 30 or in their 30s and under. It's just like, put it down, for crying out loud. My wife's car when you text her and she's driving, the car reads her the text. Dude, baseline car. If we can buy a baseline car that'll do that, you can buy a baseline car that'll do that. And it's real simple. You just leave the phone laying in the seat next to you, connected to your car, and it does the rest. But I digress. They ain't try to bust people here. And that's the police and the sheriffs around here. They're always looking at their hand too. They're driving like that. Don't you have a radio? I say, and like the communications you're doing while you're on the job, shouldn't that be done with the radio? You know, like, this is Popo 1 to Popo 2. We need you to go over here and do Popo stuff. Radio. Do it with the radio. But you got Mrs. Popo 2 wanting you to swing by and bring her some Wong Pao chicken or whatever. So, well, yeah, talk to text. You have to be able to speak English, which my wife has mastered. But she's responsible about it. When she gets a text message, she's not gonna, she's not on the road for 4 hours every time she's going somewhere. She's making a 5-minute trip. You get to where you're going, you pull over, you answer the text, do what you're gonna do, get back in. If what's going on your phone is so important that you need to be doing it, don't drive. Now I got to confess right now, this road in front of my house, I'll be like, because invariably, as soon as I hit the end of the driveway and pull out onto the blacktop, somebody texts me, hey. So I start going, put my blinker on and start cruising 20 miles an hour, trying to get it out. And then hits in, turn the volume off, upside down in the seat next to me. And then I don't pay it any more attention until I get to town. Sometimes I don't forget to look at it when I get to town, and I answer people 3-6 hours later, but that's not here or there. But if I've made the state highway, you're not getting a response. Or if it is, I just call you. So. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I wanted to quit doing the AC stuff, because you have to drive around town a lot when you do that. And, you know, 2 or 3 times a day when you have to lock them up to keep from running over some lady that was hits the stop sign and then goes. He didn't even check the traffic. Um, it was making me old. Yeah, and that's, you know, um, the quite honestly, I hate that cops have to ride solo all day. There should be 2 police in each cruiser, and all of that computer gear should be aimed at the passenger seat. You know, and then when there's 2 people in there, they don't have any reason to look for anybody else to talk to. They want to converse, they can converse with each other. If one of them needs to be on the phone getting the cable guy lined out or booking hotel rooms for his getaway with his significant other that his wife doesn't know about or whatever, then they can pull over and they switch drivers. Plus, four eyes are a lot better at looking for crimes. So, um, I couldn't be a police officer. I actually considered it a long time ago, but you know, the stuff that you have to see or whatever, not sure that would bother me nearly as bad as the people I have to deal with. I would have lost my job the first time somebody spit in my face or whatever. No, I didn't beat that person up. They tripped on the sidewalk and then they fell down trying to get in the car. And then when I was trying to help them up, I slipped and I didn't mean to. It was just been an accident. Yeah, and then there's 2 of them. They got, you know, less chance of getting shot, but then you got to double your budget for your police. And where does the budget for the police come from? Taxpayers. So you have to have more taxes. Bada boom, bada bing. There's too many of us. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee and I'm gonna tell you a story. Be right back. Story time. All right, I did. It's just, I don't, coffee doesn't keep me awake. Okay, here's the story. Back in the old days, I went to college. And I had to write a report about, well, I had to write several essays about several things, and it was just like actually fun. But back then, research was a lot more fun. You actually had the internet existed, but it didn't do all the work for you. You actually had to have a brain. But anyway, um, Windows 98. They did, and they actually did this research before the internet, but they put it on the internet. They did a research project about population. Um, and they used rats. And they did control groups. They had several buildings for rats. Okay. The rats that they kept in a place where there was enough, there was space and food and water. There's everything they needed, and plus space. There was enough room for them to stay apart. The rats lived longer. They didn't fight. Uh, they were all surprisingly lean and healthy, even though they had more food than they needed. Okay? There was almost zero hostility, yada, yada, yada. The next control group, same thing, but they went through good times, bad times, good times, bad times. They didn't starve the animals, but they would give them more than they needed. And then until all that was gone, they wouldn't give them any more food. Okay. So they had to do without, 24 hours in a rat's life. That's a long time. And then they had the group where they had, and that group had space also. Then they did a group that didn't have enough space. There's the same size area, but they put, I think it was twice. No, 3 times. There was 3 times as many rats in the same area. There was still ample food, ample water. The only thing that wasn't available was space, free space. The rats were literally always in each other's face. There was constant fighting. There were certain packs or certain rats would group up together and literally attack other rats. Some rats hardly ever were allowed to eat, while other rats became fat. The fatter the rat got, the more aggressive they got towards the other rats that would try to eat. One of the things that they noticed that was really odd about the rats in the overpopulated deal, there were literally rats that would stay on the fringes of everything, and they were hardly ever got anything to eat, hardly ever got anything to drink, but they refused to socialize with anything. They would, some of the rats that would do that would literally stay up there and starve themselves to death rather than face the mob down in the hill. They would find one little place where they could just avoid all the other rats. The whole thing with this study was they proved that population density in these rats, nothing else. There was no reason for anything that happened but population density. Population density produces higher murder rate, higher crime rate, higher suicide rate. It's not because there's more people there, so it just naturally there's going to be more crime or whatever. It's because it's all by percentages, right? You got rats 1, there was no fighting, no murder, no stealing, no nothing. 2, it was a little etchy after the 24 hours without any food, but then they would calm right back down. The one where they had more than they could use, just no space, killing, murders, gangs, violence, hoarding, every bad thing you could possibly, everything you read about in the news today. All that being said, sorry, but they're right. There's too many people on the planet. And, I don't know how to fix it. God does, and I'm leaving it in his hands. That was old days for some of the people, hopefully, that'll watch this. When this was going on, my kid was chewing on carpet. So, one in the living room in there was, when I was writing that paper, she was swimming around kicking her mom's bladder. Talking about when I wrote a paper about starving people versus non-starving people. That's exactly right, Aaron. The people that know, because the other thing is, the overpopulated rats it tended to picture, and this was conjecture on their part, seemed to think that when the people that were delivering the food were God, for lack of a better way to put it. The other ones, it was just, they didn't get excited when you showed up with the food. So then get all the population in one place, then they can get the population to think that they're doing them right. And I don't believe in man-made climate change. I do believe the planetary climate. I believe that the climate of the planet is changing. It's going through a cycle. Do we need to do some things to change the way we're doing things or pay for it really, 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 really bad? Yeah, we need to stop worrying about the next gadget and worry about a better way to grow corn. We need to figure out a better way to grow wheat, a better way to grow cattle, a better way to grow chickens. We need to quit worrying about, the horror. They're putting those chickens, they're incubating those chickens and putting them in a box and feeding them until it's time to slaughter them. There's only so much room on the planet. You want to fill it with people or free-range chickens? Well, we don't even need to eat animal protein. Do you have any idea what stripping a forest away so you can grow soybeans does to a piece of dirt? You can only grow soybeans on land so long before you have to grow something else on it because it will literally burn the soil up itself. Do you know anything about real agriculture? Do you realize that biodiesel destroys more rainforests every year than oil and gas mining does in 10 decades? Oh, what? Yeah. Green people just annoy the shit out of me. But and you've got to, sometimes you just got to let the ground go. And, why do you need 110 pairs of jeans? Asking for a friend. I annoy my wife because I don't buy new pants until there are holes in them. Well, I've had to lately because donuts. I mean, don't ask. Uh, but anyway, I've before then, uh, my wife would actually sneak into my closet and take my clothes and throw them away just because you could see through them. I found it annoying and invasive. Um, I didn't buy new pants, you know, until the posterior region of the pantaloons gave up. I wore them, and because I didn't spend a lot of time on my ass, my jeans lasted a while. So now we know that High Desert is the guy that wants to run around on his property picking flowers naked, apparently. He's done that for 20 years. Now we know why only does videos of his face. Now Tibor. Oh yeah, or let's put up solar farms that cover hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of acres that you can't allow animals to live in because they might chew a wire, but that's green because, like, you're not burning fossil fuels, eh? Oh, wait, they're made out of fossil fuels. My bad. Oh, wait, yeah, like, solar panels are made with that rare earth stuff, yeah, so they gotta, like, strip mine. I forgot about that. What about wind energy? Oh, you mean the noxious chemicals and fumes that are produced whenever they like make the blades and stuff, and the blades are only good for like 2 years, and they have to change them and just stack it. Oh, sorry. Well, just green energy is stupid. There's one form of clean energy, and they scared us off of that and now we don't have any. And the I don't think they need to be spread all over the place, but yeah, it's nuclear. Nuclear energy is safe and clean. That thing at Chernobyl, that was because the people screwed up. And building one in an earthquake place or whatever, or on the beach where a tsunami's going to come and wash it away, that's just crazy. Yes, I've actually worn cargo pants before, like back in the 80s. I've got 3 pair of cargo pants in there right now, actually, that I can't get my fat butt in. So let's talk about something else. Yeah. Now, they do have a thing that I actually like these. I mean, hold on, let me get this. I want to make this statement correct. I like the idea behind this thing. It is an electric motorcycle. Okay. I think it has, it can go at top speed for an hour and a half. The top speed's not that great, but it can handle city traffic for an hour and a half on a charge. You can get a portable solar charger for it. You have to park the bike, lock it up, set the solar thing up, plug it in, and in theory, if the weather's right, your battery will be back up to charge when you get off your 8-hour shift. If somebody doesn't steal your charging system. Everything's wrought with problems. They're pretty expensive though. Or you can plug it in when you get to the house, whatever. Or why are we not running, I think they do here actually. They're not as, suffering from what?
Don't listen to crap.
Oh, is that Courtney?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, that's right. Maddie is too, huh? I feel really sorry for those 2 people. Yeah, I'm not a fan of wind energy. Nobody around here is going to come out against it because wind energy is the best thing that happened to rural landowners in this part of the world in forever. Every Republican out here is going to vote for anything that brings more money into the wind energy deal because they are banking it off of those things, man. So, that's they don't care about oil royalties or not anymore because the wind pays better. The downside to hydrogen powered vehicles, well, hydrogen is like a really low BTU fuel for one, but it takes a massive amount of heat to separate the hydrogen from the water. Or a lot of energy to separate hydrogen from water. If they can crack getting the hydrogen and the oxygen separated, so you can recombine it, After it burns, the exhaust from it is water. Then hydrogen will solve it all. But making hydrogen fuel cells that are efficient, we're not there yet. Now, I would like them to put some more money into that. But I don't think that they're actually going to, I don't see them trying to solve the hydrogen problem anytime soon. Because then you simply, desalinate the ocean, separate the oxygen from the hydrogen, and sell it to people. And then as people are driving around, they're raising the humidity in the area. I mean, you think about it though. I just did. If, let's say, like New York City, everybody stops using gasoline and diesel, and everybody's running hydrogen cars, would it ever stop raining in New York City? I don't know. Theoretically, a closed system, but you have to have a way to reseparate the hydrogen and the oxygen. It does. It's not automatic. I don't know all the specifics on it. It's been a long time since I read anything on the hydrogen stuff. I know that they do have buildings that are making power that are using uh, hydrogen cells to make power in some of the bigger cities. But I think the hydrogen cell is connected to the grid, and it uses grid power to separate the hydrogen oxygen, and then the hydrogen oxygen is then used to make more power than comes from the grid to separate it. So while it's not an uber or an excellent whatever or an efficient system, it is more efficient than direct use of grid electricity. Yeah, hydrogen really wants to bond back to oxygen. So, yeah, that's the. I don't think it'll ever. I don't think they'll ever have cars that run on hydrogen. It'll be, for hydrogen to work, it's going to have to be um, electric. And then they make the electricity somewhere. And if you're going to go through all that trouble, why not just make nuclear? And if you're worried about the used, the bad cells or whatever, just like let Elon Musk put them in rockets and launch them, and then let them drift into the sun's gravitational pull and get absorbed by the sun. We'll just keep putting all the radiation back over there. A whole nother industry there. See? See what I did there? I mean, I just mean, nuclear fuel cell disposals. I mean, It could be like a whole industry. And if it's going to somewhere else, then we don't have to worry about it contaminating. And yeah, I guess that would be kind of expensive. But I want a Pinto so bad I can't stand it. But if I get a Pinto, I'm taking the back seats out of it. I'll take it had that fuel tank in the under the back bumper or under the back end. I would remove it from there and I'd put it where the back seat was. I'd put a plate so the fuel tank wouldn't be in the cab with me. But I want to build a rally car out of it. I thought the Pintos were just like awesome vehicles. I think Pintos were, I think they were cool as shit. I think they were fun to drive too. But I was always a little car guy. I just love little cars. I would kill for a mid-70s Toyota Corolla. Preferably two-door, but I'd take a four-door. Yeah, see, that's I run mine stock. I could do enough. I had a 3.2 V6 in a Monza. I could do enough damage with that. I was squeaking almost as much horsepower out of it as I could out of a 305. I was actually squeaking more out of it than you could pull out of a stock 305. That's not bodywork, Tibor. Well, I guess technically it is. That sounds like some circle track crap right there. Are they real? Or does anybody know if they're still doing the oval tracks and stuff, the dirt track racing, or they shut that? That got knocked out by the lockdown too. I mean, what with the social distancing and stuff, were they allowed to go and sit in the stands and watch the car go? That is a high quality Saturday night. Yeah. And then they come out with the Mustang 2, which was basically just a Pinto. Yeah, the ones down here were too. I think that's why NASCAR got a bailout. Don't see anybody bitching about that though. All they'd have to do to bail NASCAR out is lift the lockdowns. I would like to know the names of all them people that paid to have their photographic cutouts put in the stands at them games. Because then people got issues. There's a Mustang 2 sitting at Paint Rock, been in the same place since 96. No. That I know of since 98. It's been sitting there. Yellow. Yeah. Well, guys, I turned the coffee pot off. I'm out of coffee. It's 11 o'clock. That's the one. And I think that's, I will talk about that before I get off of here. Here's enough is enough is enough. Do not let them steal our country, your country. I see more and more people refusing to comply down here. I see more and more people that still have the signs on the door. But you look inside and the people are like, just come on, when you see the sign, they're letting you know, don't worry about it. We have to do that to keep the Karens and stuff off. Now, if we let this thing, which is happening, go through, and I quit letting them stall us. I can't make it to DC. But I'm signing everything I can. I texted that whatever, the 88 whatever thing. Biden didn't win. The end. We won the majority in the Senate. We can't, if we let, there's no taking it back in the next election. I no longer, our votes should have counted. I'm not backing off of that. It is our duty to be a part of the political system. You cannot be a citizen of the United States and disavow your responsibility, your duty to be involved in the political system of the United States. It is the unwillingness of the American citizen to be actively participating in the governing of their own country that allowed it to get to this point. So, without blaming the people that did participate, now we have to do the dirty work that we will have to answer for later. This will not be God's war taking back a righteous country. Do not put this on God. But we're going to have to do something if we don't want our kids and our grandkids to be slaves. The end. It's got to happen before January 20th. that's where I'm at. And now I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to sandbag my front door so I can get a night's sleep, because I just said no nos. It's the truth. Oh, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to stay here and hunker down and take care of me and mine. It's not going to work. Love you, people. Y'all be blessed. Stay alive. Don't die. Stay free. It's the only way to stay free. When the gorilla's trying to drag you back to his nest, you can comply or you can fight. You can get beat to death or escape, maybe. Or you can go back to the nest and be his little. It's your choice. And Merry Christmas. Love all you people.